Madam, live started.
A warm welcome to all. Good morning, everyone. Myself, Kausar Anjum, working as TGT Science, NTS Model School, Imampet Village, Suryapet Mandal. Children, today I am going to explain you structure of ureters, urinary bladder, and urethra. Along with that, I'm also going to explain you two more topics. One is micturition, and the third one is composition of urine. So after my class, what are the learning once glance about and you can understand the importance of water in our body, and you can you can give complete information on composition of our urine, and finally you can explain the mechanism involved in urination, that is micturition. Okay, so I hope you have understood what you are going to learn in today's class. So let's begin our session. With the topic structure of ureters, urinary bladder, and urethra. Children, in previous classes, you have learned about the external structure of kidney, internal structure of kidney, mechanism of urine formation, isn't it? Here, our lesson is excretory system. It's not excretory organ. We have discussed about in detail about the excretory organ, that is kidneys, isn't it? But we have to learn about the other supporting organs which makes the excretion possible. So what are the other supporting organs along with the kidneys means there are three more organs. The first is the ureters, second is urinary bladder, and third is the urethra. So here my topic is about the other additional organs which are supporting the kidneys are the ureters, urinary bladder, and urethra. So here the first organ which I am going to explain is the ureters. You can see here one long narrow tube-like structure originating from the kidneys. So this tube-like structure, which is long, narrow, originating from the kidneys, is called as ureters. Here I have labeled it as ureters. This tube is called as ureters. So ureters are how many in number? How many ureters can you able to see here? There are a pair of ureters, that is 2 in number. There are 2 ureters originating, one from each kidneys, isn't it? So ureters are long, narrow, tube-like structures which are originating from kidneys. Okay, in kidneys also there are several parts. So the actual origination of ureter is the hilus. In previous session, I have explained you what is hilus, isn't it? Kidneys has two surfaces. The outer surface is convex in shape, and the inner surface is concave in shape. At this inner surface, this concave shape, there is an opening of the kidney which is called as hilus. From this hilus, 3 tubes originate. The first is renal artery, which is red in color. The second is renal vein, which is blue in color. And the third tube, which is appearing to be white in color, which is called as ureters. So ureters are narrow tube-like structures which are in a pair, that is 2 in number, and its color is white. And coming to the length, how long it is, means it is 30 centimeters in its length. And what is its characteristic feature, means what quality it has, means it is distensible and muscular. Distensible means what? Which can extend in its length. Which can extend in its length is called as distensible. So this ureters is a pipe-like structure. It can extend in its length, and it contains some muscles. Where the muscle is present, that organ can expand and contract, isn't it? So it is a muscular structure. That means what type of muscles are present here? There are the smooth muscles. Okay, children. And what is a speciality of this, means it carries urine which is formed in the kidneys. It carries the urine, isn't it? That urine must be released out of our body. Here the urine is prepared in the kidneys. That urine is taken up by these white tube-like structures called as ureters and brought to another structure from where it is expelled out. So its function is to take the urine from kidneys and to bring to this bag-like structure. Is it okay, children? So how, in which way it carries the urine, means it shows peristalsis. Peristaltic movements are exhibited by the ureters. In previous classes, that is chapter number 1, nutrition, you have learned about the peristaltic movements, isn't it? So once again, I'll recapitulate to you what is peristalsis. Peristalsis are the wave-like movements. See here, children, this is a tube. In this, these balls, we can take these balls as the urine. So in this tube, this is the ureters. In this, the urine is present. This urine should come downward from upward direction and should accommodate in the bag-like structure, isn't it? So how it comes down means by the peristaltic movements, the wave-like movements which are shown by the tube-like structures. So here, how the peristalsis is possible means because of relaxation and contraction of muscles which are present in the tube. So what type of muscles are present in the ureters, means smooth muscles are present. Okay. So here peristalsis is seen in so many body parts, in so many of our body parts which are part of digestive system and also which are a part of excretory system. So in digestive system, esophagus, small intestine, large intestine. In these 3 parts, we can see the peristaltic movements. Along with the excretory system, the part which exhibit the peristaltic movement is the ureters. I hope you have understood what is ureters, what is its size, what is its color, from where it originates, what is its function, okay, and what is the unique quality it has. Now we will move to the next part, that is urinary bladder. Okay, so see here, these are the kidneys, and from these kidneys, the opening of the kidney called as hilus. From the hilus, the tube-like structures which are white in color originates. Those are ureters, and these ureters open obliquely into a bag-like structure which is called as urinary bladder. So urinary bladder is a bag-like structure, or it can be called as sac-like structure. Sac is nothing but bag, and it is median in position. What is the meaning of median? See here, children, kidneys are 2 in number. One is right side and other is left side, isn't it? But the bladder is only one. Where it is, whether it is right side or left side, no, it is not present either on either right side or the left side. It is present in the center. So it is called as median. Median in the sense in the middle, in the center. So urinary bladder is center in its position in between the 2 kidneys, but lower to the coming to the lower in the region, and it is pear shaped. It is a fruit. Pear is a fruit. It resembles that pear shaped, and it is distensible. Distensible in the sense what? It can get expanded as the urine get filled in that urinary bladder. the bladder goes on expanding. So depending upon the quantity of the urine, the size of the bag is present. Okay. Next, coming to the location where it is present in the pelvic region. So where the pelvic region is, see here children, this is the thoracic cavity, and this is the abdomen, and below the abdomen, this region is called as pelvic region. Pelvic region is in between the abdomen cavity and the legs. So in this region, this sac-like structure, which is called as urinary bladder, is present. Okay. So here, what is its function? What the urinary bladder does? Okay. Kidneys filter the blood, prepares the urine. That prepared urine is taken by these tube-like structures called as ureters and brought into the sac-like structure, which is called as urinary bladder. So what is the function of urinary bladder? It stores the urine temporarily, not permanently, temporarily, so that it can release it out. Okay. So storing urine temporarily brought by a pair of ureters is the function of urinary bladder. Okay. Now coming to this capacity, how much of urine can it accommodate? It can store, means it can accommodate 300 ml urine to 800 ml of urine. So the minimum quantity capacity is 300 and maximum to the maximum, it can accommodate 800 ml of urine. Okay, so this is about the urinary bladder. Urinary bladder is 1 in number. It is median in shape. It is a median in position. It is pear shaped and it is distensible sac. And its location is in pelvic region. Okay, so next we will move to the next part, that is urethra. It is urethra. So urinary bladder. Next, this urinary bladder leads to a tube-like structure. This tube-like structure is called as urethra. So here, urinary bladder accommodates urine temporarily. When the urinary bladder is filled, it must be expelled out. So expelling is done with the help of this attachment, which is tube-like. This is called as urethra. So here, in between the urethra, in between the urinary bladder and the urethra, there are a ring of muscles. That means it is sphincter. Okay, this sphincter is closed and can be opened. When there is no urine, when the bladder is empty, this sphincter is relaxed. And when the bladder is filling with the urine, this sphincter gets closed so that the urine can be stored in the urinary bladder. And okay, children, so this is about the urethra and the urinary bladder. And now coming to the length of the urethra. So here the length in females, it is just 4 centimeters. The length is 4 centimeters in females, and in males the length of the urethra is 20 centimeter long. In males the urethra is 20 centimeter long, and in females it is just 4 centimeters. So why there is a length difference, we will see in the further slides. And one more thing here, children, in males, urethra is called as urinogenital duct. Urinogenital duct. In males, urethra is called as urinogenital duct. Why it is called also, I'll explain you in the further slide. Okay, so here I hope you have understood what is a urethra. We will move further. Here there is a note given. There is length difference in the urethra of male and female, isn't it? In male, it is 20 centimeters. In female, it is just 4 centimeters. Now, I'll explain you why there is a length difference. Here, children, this is the figure showing the male urinary bladder, male urethra, and this is the figure showing the female urinary bladder and female urethra. You can, by seeing just a figure, you can confirm that the length of the urethra is so long and the length of the urethra in female is so short. So why there is a difference in the sense? This part is the male sex organ, which is penis. It is a penis, and here the urinary bladder opens into urethra. This urethra runs along the penis and opens outside. So here, when the urine is filled in this urethra, the urine is expelled out into the urethra. From the urinary bladder, the urine comes into the urethra, and the urine goes out through this penis. So this is called as so it is very lengthy in its size, very lengthy. And why it is called as urinogenital duct means this is the tube from where the sperms come out, and this is the part from where the urine is also excreted, as the urethra is the part from where the sex cells come out, and as the urethra is a part from where the urine is expelled out, it is called as urinogenital duct. Urinogenital duct. Is it clear, children? And here there is no such any other attachment or any other attachment to this urethra. Any other organ is not attached. So it is very short in its size. So there is a structural difference. I hope you have understood. Now we will enter into the second topic, that is micturition. Okay, so what is micturition? This is a new word, children. Till now you have not come across with this word micturition. When the urinary bladder is filled, what we feel to pass the urine out, isn't it? That is a natural feeling which every human being exhibits. So when the urinary bladder is filled to the quantity of minimum 300 to 400 ml, then we feel like we would like to pass the urine. So this releasing of urine from the urinary bladder is called as micturition. So the urge which you feel to pass the urine, releasing of urine from the urinary bladder to outside of our body is called as micturition. So actually micturition is a medical term. In the sense it is used by mostly doctors. But what is the common term for the micturition means? It is commonly called as urination. We use the word urination. But in the medical grounds, it is the word, instead of urination, it is the word used is the micturition. So when the micturition occurs, when our urinary bladder is filled with 300 to 400 ml of urine. But what is the actual capacity of the bladder? It can withstand, or it can store up to 800 ml of urine, isn't it? Right. So here you can see this is the urinary bladder, and this yellow part is the urine. And here I said in the part where the urinary bladder is attached to the urethra, there are the ring of muscles. So there is a sphincter is present. So here there is one sphincter, and here there is one more sphincter. Here it is clearly given. At the point where the urinary bladder attached to the urethra, there is one sphincter, and the lower region, the lower part is the another sphincter. Sorry children, I have given the terms in reverse. Actually this is the external sphincter and this is the internal sphincter. So here this is the internal sphincter and it is the external sphincter. When the urinary bladder is filled with urine, what happens? The external sphincter gets, the internal sphincter gets relaxed. So the internal sphincter gets relaxed. But the external sphincter will be closed. Actually, the internal sphincter is under the control of our spinal cord. That means it undergoes reflex actions. In our body, there are few voluntary actions and few involuntary actions. Voluntary means which are in our control. Involuntary means which are not in our control. So this internal sphincter is not in our control, whereas this internal sphincter is in the control of spinal cord, and this sphincter is under our control. So the reflex action leads to the relaxation of external sphincter, and but the internal sphincter is under our control. So when we cannot pass the urine. When the bladder is filled with the 800 ml of urine or 700 ml of urine, then our controlling capacity get decreased, and we start feeling pain. So then what happens? It undergoes voluntary urination. Voluntary urination means automatically, though it is on control, it is our control, we cannot hold, and we will pass it. Okay, so this is about the micturition. Now coming to the next topic, that is composition of urine. So in previous class, I have explained you about the composition of urine. Urine contains organic substances, inorganic substances, and water. So organic substances makes to 2.5%, inorganic substances makes to 1.5%, and water to 96%. So this combinedly, it is the composition of the urine. Now, what are the organic substances? Organic substances are urea, uric acid, creatinine, water-soluble vitamins, hormones, and oxalates. And what are the inorganic substances? Inorganic substances are sodium, chloride, potassium, sulfate, magnesium, calcium, and iodine. So these are the inorganic substances. Now coming to the color of the urine, it is amber in color or pale yellow in color. So why the urine is amber in color or pale yellow in color means because of RBCs. RBCs after 120 days, they are destroyed in the liver, isn't it? So RBCs contain the pigment called as hemoglobin. So when the hemoglobin get dismantled, so many pigments are originated from that. That is bilirubin, biliverdin, and urochrome. Because of the release of this urochrome pigment, the urine contains pale yellow color. And what is the nature of the urine? It is acidic in nature. So what is the pH here? 6 pH, isn't it? Urine is acidic in nature. It is pale yellow in color. It contains organic substances, inorganic substances, along with the water. So this is the composition of the urine. Now, there is one interesting question here, one interesting statement here. Composition of urine depends on variety of factors. So different factors in the sense the diet which we take, the style of living, in the sense not external style, but the water intake. So here, all these things are the liquids what we take. Are we taking more liquids or less liquids? So what type of food we are consuming? All these factors decide the composition of the urine. So how I'll explain you with the simple examples. For instance, if we take more protein rich diet, if we take more non-veg, which contains more proteins, or we take more dal, which has proteins. So this leads to the formation of urea. When the proteins get metabolized, what happens? The deamination occurs, and this urea is formed. Where the deamination occurs means it occurs in an organ called as liver. So taking of more proteins releases more urea. So more urea is excreted in the urine. If you take less protein diet, less urea is released, and you can find less urea in the urine. And it also, the urine composition also depends on the water intake or the liquids you take. If you take less quantity of water, then your urine will be concentrated, or you will get less quantity of urine. You cannot excrete much urine. And if you take more water, then what happens? Your urine outflow is very good. I mean, the more urine, free urine, which is white in color, that will be discharged. So urine composition depends upon even the consumption of water. So and also some people suffer with the disease called as diabetes mellitus, isn't it? Diabetes mellitus, it is commonly called as sugar. So in those persons, there is a lack of insulin, isn't it? When the insulin, the hormone is not produced, what happens? That person suffers with diabetes mellitus. It is nothing but presence of sugar in the blood as well as urine. What is diabetes mellitus? Presence of sugar in the urine as well as in the blood. So if you are suffering from diabetes mellitus, then your sugar, then your urine also contains sugar. Okay. So here urine composition depends upon the protein intake, what amount of water you are taking, and also are you suffering from any diseases like diabetes mellitus. So this all the factors here, I have taken only few factors. In addition to these factors, many other factors are also there which influence or which regulates the urine composition. So here, I hope you have understood what are the factors which influence the composition of urine. Now here, there is a note given. Urine turns to alkaline on standing due to conversion of urea to ammonia. Urine turns to alkaline on standing. Standing in the sense, not simply sitting or standing. Standing in the sense, when the urine is formed and stored in the bladder, then its nature is acidic. Okay. If you go on controlling the urination, if you're not passing the urine outside, and if you're going on storing that urine, that is called as standing. Means it is a situation where you are not passing the urine out, but you are holding it. You are giving much time to store in the urinary bladder. It is called as standing. So when you hold that urine for longer time, then slowly that acidic nature will turn into alkaline nature. Why the acidic nature turns to alkaline nature means because of conversion of urea, which is acidic in nature, to ammonia, which is alkaline in nature. Okay, so urine turns to alkaline on standing due to conversion of urea to ammonia. Okay, I hope you have understood what is the why the urine acidic urine turns to alkaline. So now it is the time to think and to give some work to your brain. Here I have 3 questions are given in your textbook. The first is, do cells need excretion? Do cells need excretion? Yes, cells need excretion. Why? Cell is the basic unit of life. So all the physiological activities goes on in the cell, like excretion, digestion, respiration, isn't it? So when all the physiological activities goes on in the cells, what happens? There is the waste materials formed. So when the waste materials are formed, those waste materials must be sent out. So definitely the excretion is needed by the cells. Otherwise, what happens? Those waste materials will turn to toxins, and further it is a threat to the life of the cell. Next, the second question is, why we advise to take sufficient quantity of water? So mostly our elders and your teachers will be telling you to take more, sufficient quantities of water. You should not take less water, you should take more water. So why we are advised so that when we take more water, all the waste materials, the excess salts will get dissolved in the water, and it can be easily released out of the body. Okay, so when you take less water, then what happens? There is a chance of forming of stones in the kidneys. So you are advised to take sufficient quantities of water. Next, why do some children pass urine during sleep at night until 15 or 16 years of age? Children, generally we see infant in the sense the children who are below 2 years of age, generally they pass urine during sleep. That is called as bed wetting. So, but as the child grows slowly, the child gets habituated to wake during night time and to pass the urine when he is unconscious, isn't it? But some children, as they reach to the age of 15 or 16 years also, they cannot control the urination, and they undergoes bedwetting. So why it happens? In the sense, there are multiple reasons for that. There are multiple reasons. The first reason is because of less release of vasopressin. When vasopressin is released in less quantities, urine, diluted urine is passed. This is the first reason. Second reason is the urinary bladder is not matured as their age grows. When the urinary bladder size is small, but they are growing, then what happens? They cannot hold much quantity, or that urinary bladder cannot hold much quantity of urine. And as the urinary bladder cannot hold sufficient quantity of urine which is produced by that body, then automatically it is excreted out. This is the second reason, children. And the third reason is it can be a genetical fact. It can be a genetical disorder. If the any of the parents has such type of disorder, that will be passed to the children also. And the fourth reason is because of mental stress, because of sleeplessness, or because of mental tension. It also happens. So I hope you have understood these three questions and you will be able to answer these questions on your own. Next, now it is a final thing, that is evaluation time. Evaluation time. So here the tools which we require to evaluate ourselves are the questions. So here the first question is, what is peristalsis? What is peristalsis? Peristalsis is nothing but wave-like movements seen in our body parts or a few of our body parts. So because of these wave-like movements, what happens? The substance which is in the upward in the upper position slowly reaches down. So this is the peristalsis, and peristalsis occurs due to the alternate contraction and relaxation of the muscles. Next question is, write a note on micturition. So micturition, it is commonly called as urination. Micturition is a medical term. It is the feel to pass the urine outside. Micturition is nothing but our feeling to pass the urine outside. When do we feel to pass the urine outside? When our bladder is filled with the urine. So the minimum quantity of the urine is 300 ml and the maximum quantity is 800 ml. And next, coming to the third question, that is why there is the length difference of urethra in male and female. Why there is a difference? In males, the urethra is passing through the penis. So it is very long. Whereas in females, urethra is not attached to any other organ. So it just opens into a chamber. So the urethra is small in the females, whereas it is very long in the males. And in the males, the urethra is called as urinogenital duct. That means it takes both urine and the sex cells. And next, coming to the fourth question, what factors decide the composition of urine in our body? So what factors decide? The first, I have given few examples. The first is the protein consumption. If you are taking more proteins, then your urine has more urea. If you are taking less protein, then your urine has less urea. This is the first thing. And your composition also depends upon the quantity of water intake. If you are taking large quantity of water, or if you are taking more fruit juices, then it is much diluted. And it also depends upon the health conditions. That is, if the person is suffering from any disorders like diabetes mellitus, then the lack of insulin is seen, and the sugar is found in both blood and urine. So urine composition depends upon many factors, but few I have given as the examples. Next, coming to the fifth question, what is the composition of urine? Write in detail. In the previous session, I have explained you the composition of the urine, isn't it? Once again, I'll tell you. Here, the urine contains three major things. The one is organic substances, second, the inorganic substances, and third, water. So you can write in detail what are the organic substances, what are the inorganic. Okay. And next, coming to the sixth question, why we are advised to take sufficient water. So taking water is very, very good to health. The first thing is our body mostly contains water. Every cell contains large quantities of water, isn't it? So we need water for digestion, we need water for respiration, even for excretion, and it also regulates our body temperature. So we have to take sufficient water so that the salts can be dissolved properly and it can be excreted out of our body. So we need sufficient quantities of water. I hope you have understood today's lesson. Once go through the content which is given in your textbook, and you mostly you concentrate on the topic micturition, and I will meet you soon in the next class with a fresh topic. Okay, thank you for watching my class.